Hi everybody, Rose here. So today we're going to do the fingerless glove. I've never made one of these before, so I was excited to try. And I found this stitch. It's called the suzette stitch. And I just thought it was lovely. And what I like about this glove is that you can put it on your left hand or your right hand. Don't be like me. You do it on your left hand or you can put it on your right hand. So it's interchangeable, so you don't have to worry about which is which. So what you're going to need is your scissors, a stitch marker, it's always optional, our tapestry, and a row counter. And we are going to do the G 4.0 millimeter. It'll give it a little bit of a tighter stitch. And for yarn, I'm doing a acrylic. This was probably from a thrift haul somewhere along the way. It didn't have a tag, but it looks like a slate blue and it feels like Red Heart Super Saver. So you could also do these in cotton if you want. So go get your supplies and I'll meet you right back here. Okie dokie. And I changed my filming setup, so I'll eventually get something nicer than this, but let me know if it makes a difference to you, okay? All right, so how we're gonna start this is we are gonna do a slip knot. And we're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Now what we're going to do, that 11 is counting it kind of like a chain 1. This is number 10, second loop from the hook. So we're going to go into that one and we're going to do a single crochet. And then in each of these stitches, we're going to do 1 single crochet all the way down, and we're going to have 10 single crochets together. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and right by that knot there is 10. And that's row 1. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And this is where a row counter will come in handy. What we're doing is we're making the brim. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at this. And when we turn it straight up and down, we've got our front loop and our back loop. And we're going to be working in the back loop, which is going to create these ridges. Okay. So we're going to go, there's our chain 1. We're going to go into that last one, into the back, push to the back, grab our yarn and pull up and do a single crochet. There's 1. And then we're just going to tilt it toward us. And then we're going to just do another single crochet all the way down in each one of these stitches back here. Into the back. Just turn it towards you a little bit. There you go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I have to on this last one. Because of that chain 1, it wants to pull it the other way, so we're just gonna grab it and turn it toward us a little bit more. There's 10. And there we go. There's row 2. There's that ridge. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to keep doing that. Turn it toward us. Go into that first one. And if you need to, count them. 1, 2, 3, and you should have 10 each time. And just do 1 single crochet all the way down. And then when you get to your 10th one, then you're going to do a chain 1 and turn. And we're going to do this for, I have 24. So I'm going to go at this for a minute, and then when I build up a little bit, I'll tune back in so I can show you how you can count it. And this is another reason if you needed this, you could be marking it off. So that was 1, 2, this is 3. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. So I'm starting row 4, and then you can use your counter to help you. So I will be back in just a little bit, and we'll see where you are. Hi, I wanted to touch back with y'all so you're not waiting on me. So I left my tail, so I know that that's where I started. For you guys, for your righties out there, your tail's going to be over here, and then you did your first row, and then you came back and did your second row, and you can't tell on this, but it's got a bump. And so you would turn it over to where the tail is on the left, and then you would see this, it's like this hill and then a valley, a hill and then a valley. So for you guys, you would be counting this ridge here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then you would keep on going until you have 24 of these ridges. This is the way your work would probably be looking. So you'll turn it over and then find that top ridge. It's actually the front loop because we were doing the back loop. So these are all like the front loops. Okay, so you can just have some idea of what you're looking at. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'll meet you back. Okay, finishing up my 24th row. Okay, that's what that looks like. Let's get a measurement on it just so you have an idea. About 6 1/4, so that's great. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to line up these 2 edges here. And since we've been going in the back loops, what we're going to do here is we're going to do that. So here's our chain 1. So this is our first stitch, and we're going to be sewing it like that. We're going to go in these back loops, and since this was our first row, it's automatically going to be just in that top loop. And I'm going to do a single crochet. Okay, so there's 1, and I'm going to go ahead and count them just for the sake of the video. Go back there and pull up 1 loop. There's 2. Go in here and get this 3rd loop. Go straight back. There's 3. There's that back loop. 4. And it looks like it's starting to be a little crooked, so I'm just going to adjust it. Pick up that back loop there. I'm going to go straight back. and single crochet. And I'm not, as I've said before, I'm not worried about that this stitch lines up perfectly. I just want my end result to be straight. Here's my other back loop. I poke it straight back. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to do that all the way down and have 10. 8. 9. That 10th one likes to hide there. Grab that and go right by that knot there. And that'll be 10. So when we open it up, you can't even tell. Now we have made 24 rows. So we are going to, as evenly as we can, put in 24 stitches. So I'm going to chain 1. Actually, for this one, I'm going to go in this first hole, right? It's like, here's that ridge where all those back loops are. And there's a hole right next to it. I'm going to go there first, and I'm going to do a single crochet. And I'm just going to go ahead and mark it. Anything that can go wrong on film usually does, so there. Okay, so that's 1. Now on top of this ridge, if you look closely, there's like a little knot. And see, right next to it, you see these 2 strands, and then we have a hole, and then we have this knot thing. So we went into that hole there, and if you can get your eyeballs on it, but there's a little loop right there. And then right next to that loop, when I turn it, I can see two strands. Those are the things I'm going to be going into. I'm going to look for this ridge, and then on top of that ridge, I'm going to pick up that loop there. And then I'm going to be picking up 1 loop next to it. I'm going to skip that hole, and then I'm going to go to this top loop, which is right connected to the 2 loops, but I'll just be picking up 1. It takes a little bit to see it. It doesn't really matter when it comes down to it. You just want to try to space out 24 stitches. But for me, if I have a system, if you will, then it's easier for me to keep track. So that was 1. There's that knot. So that's 2. Here's that 2 loops. Go under the 1 loop there. That's 3. I'm going to skip that hole there, and I'm going to go to that top loop. And then right next to it is the 2 loops. And then I can see it right here. It's easier to see in person than on camera. I'm looking at the monitor, it's hard to see. And then there's those 2 loops there. I'm going in the front loop. I'm going to skip that hole there, and then that ridge, and then I can see that top loop right there. Single crochet. There's those 2 loops right there. Single crochet. Skip that hole. So I will meet you when we get closer to the end, and just have 24 single crochets. Okay, so that brings it to 24, but I don't want that gap there. So I'm going to pull out. I didn't know that was going to happen. I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to skip that hump, and I'm going to go straight into the 2 loops for my 24th. pull that out there. And then I'm going to join to my first single crochet with the chain 1. And it's not very noticeable at all. Okay? So that's the beginning of our actual glove. Now for the fun part, we're going to start doing the suzette stitch. Okay, so here we are with our first, we did that slip stitch and a chain 1. Now what we're going to do is in that place that we joined, we're going to go right back in there and we're going to do a single crochet, and we're also going to do a double crochet in that same stitch. There's one, we'll just call it like a little cluster. Okay, there's our first little cluster. And I'm going to do, so I can visually see it, I'm going to go ahead and mark my single crochet. Now, the beginning of our repeating pattern. So we did one cluster. We're going to skip one single crochet, and then in this next one, we're repeating this cluster. And that is a single crochet with a double crochet. There's 2 clusters. Skip a single crochet, and in the next one, single crochet with a double crochet. Yeah, it's going to be easy. So there's 3 clusters. We're going to skip a stitch and do our cluster, which is a single crochet, double crochet. Skip a stitch, cluster, skip, cluster. And you do that all the way around, and we're going to have 12 of these little cluster things. All right. I'm going to carry on, and I'll meet you back when you have your 12. I'll show you how we're going to join. Here I am. Let me count myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, great. I've done 11 clusters. I'm going to do my last cluster real quick. And guess what? We are not joining. We are just going to take this bad boy till it's time to do the thumb. So we're going to go straight into that first single crochet, and we're going to do our cluster. Single crochet, double crochet. And I'm going to we're going to go ahead and just mark it. And we're going to carry on. We're going to skip. And the way you can look at it, if you pull it apart, see the ones with the 2 lines up? That's our single crochets. That's all we have to be looking for. You know, just go around and look for those 2 lines. And we're going to be putting the cluster on top of the cluster. So that was a single, double, single, double, single, double. Or you can just skip every other one, but for me, I'm going to be looking for those singles. And I'm just going to do my cluster on top of it. And we're still going to have 12 of these little clusters all the way around. That number should not change. Otherwise, your project is growing and you've added it somewhere. Single, double, single, double in that same stitch. And then I'll meet you when we get back here. Okay, this last cluster here. All right, so just so you have a visual, we've done 2 rows, and I guess you could be counting those 2 if you wanted. Done 2 rows. We're about to start our 3rd row. We're going to do 4 complete rows. So go ahead and do 2 more rows, and I'll meet you back. Just make sure that you have your 12 of these clusters and just be looking for those single crochets. Okay, and I'll meet up with you then. Here we go. This will be the most challenging part, but it's not. I've tried to make it as simple as I could. So here we are, starting our 5th row. Okay, so we're going to start the thumb. So in this first single crochet, we're going to do a single crochet and then a double crochet. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and mark our single crochet. And then we're going to count 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to, pull that up so you can see that you're in this stitch, that single crochet. We're going to skip the double. We're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And in the 4th stitch, we're going to go immediately in there and do a single crochet and then a double crochet in that same stitch. We're just ignoring that we just did this huge chain, and we're just going to carry on now with our clusters. We're going to skip a stitch and we're back to our single crochet and doing our clusters. So single, double in there, and then we're going to keep on. Look for that single crochet and do our cluster. And then when we get back around, I'll show you how we're going to carry on. I guess that's my word today, carry on. So with that round, we have 11 clusters because we didn't make one here. So here we are back at the beginning. And that was row 5. So we're starting row 6. And we're going to go into that single crochet and do our cluster. And I'll go ahead and put this back in there. Okay, so what we're going to do is count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in this 5th chain, we're going to do a cluster. Carefully. So we're going to do single and a double. Okay, and then how we joined with a single. Here's our cluster that we joined with. In that single crochet, I'm going to do another cluster. There's a single and a double. Okay, and then I'm going to carry on. I'm going to skip one. I'm going to go into that next single and do my cluster, and then I go all the way back around, and we'll end back up with my 12 clusters and we made a thumb hole, and we'll sew that in at the end. So this is where it gets to be the creative part for you. Is you can stick your whichever hand in. Okay, stretch that a little bit, get it to be comfortable, and because that's all we're going to be doing. We're going to be going back in rounds and go as high as you want. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. I'm going to use this hole as my guide of where my beginning is. Go back in that single crochet, and I'm going to just do my clusters. I'm going to just go round after round until it's long enough. I'll come back in a few rows and we'll see where we're at. What do you guys think? You like this stitch? You finding it easy? I wasn't planning on filming today. It's been kind of a day, but I've been on such a little bit of a high, just writing patterns and getting them filmed. you know, I start back work on Monday, and I was just like, you know, I just want to go ahead and get it up there. It's just been so nice. I want to take a second to also say, you know, hi to you new people. I've said this before, but I thank you so much for following, and I hope there's something you find that you like. Okay, well, you know what? I think we'll have to go ahead and do one more here. Let's go here. Let me count my rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I've done 12 rows. And now what I'm going to do to finish this off, because get this on here. Yeah, that will work. You could even do another one, but I think I'm gonna stop at 12. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 12. Did 12 rounds. My first one, I did 14 rounds, and it took it, like my pinky was completely covered. So you can like measure it and see if you want to keep on doing rows, but this last row, watch this. No, we're going to go right in there at next stitch with a single crochet. And that's just how we ended it. And we're going to do a single crochet in every stitch all the way around. No skipping anything, just go all the way around. You should have 24 if you're counting. I'm just going to look for my thumb hole. And it's just going to finish this edge off. Yeah, I can see. And it's now like single, single, single. And I'm going to just slip stitch into that first single crochet, do a chain 1, do my traditional finger, and there's that part. Because that single crochet does add just a little bit more height. You know, you can stretch it that way. Your fingers are going to be able to pop in there. All right, so now we're going to get this thumb going. And what I found, because we don't really have like a normal stitch, we've got bottoms and sides and whatever. So let's just go here in the corner. Okay, we're going to go close here. I'm just going to pick up one of these loops on the side. And actually, let me get my slip knot. We're going to start with a slip knot. Okay, and we are going to join in this side here. It doesn't matter which loop you go into. I'm just picking something. And we're going to join with a single crochet. So we did our slip knot. We picked up a loop. We're going to grab our yarn, come up to where we have 2 loops, and then do a single crochet. You can tie it on, do a chain 1, go back and do a single crochet. That's fine too. And just so I can really count and how I'm going to do this, I'm going to try and take my tail with me so it's less for me to sew in. That was the corner or the side. And now I'm just basically going to try and put 12 stitches total. That was 1. So I'm going to do 11 more stitches all the way around. So I'm going to pick up one of these loops. So that will be, and do a single crochet. That's 2. I'm gonna go next. There's 3. There's 4. I'm just picking up 1 loop. 5. And now I'm getting close. I'm going to do 1 more. There's 6. And now I'm at the side, which is weird looking. I'm going to pick up something here. This will be 7. And I'm just going to pause for a second to take a look. I need to put 5 stitches here, so I need to visually know where I am. And just going to go here straight on the bottom. Actually, let me just get this out of the way now. Now I'm going to go on the bottom. That's the side I was just at, 7. And I'm going to pick up 1 loop. This will be 8. Get my finger in there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to pick up another one. And if you need to, count them out. You know, I'm not worried so much in the beginning, but I want to make sure that towards the end I have counted it. Okay. I believe this is going to be 11. And it's just a big mess right there. So I'm just going to force my way here. 11. And then there's this one. It's really stretched out, but I'm going to pick up something that's not that. I really don't think there's an easier way to explain it other than not on it like this when it's really janky. So let me count it real quick. Make sure I have 12. My first one I did 10 and it's just a little snug. So I thought I'd try 12. Now that we have our initial 12, I'm going to go into my first stitch. There's no joining. And now this is as long as you want to go. On this one, I did 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it took it to like halfway on my thumb. So let's go ahead and do 4 more rounds. I'm just going to count to 12 4 times, and then we'll see where we're at. There's 1, 2. Just keep your finger in there, give you some leverage. 3. And I just caught it. I would have missed that stitch. It like completely looked like it shouldn't even be there. I'm just going to pull it and I'm going to grab it for my 12th stitch. And here we go. 1, 2, okay, 12. Okay, let's try it on. Yeah. And it does have a little bit of a gap, and I do like that because it's like snug to fit. Yeah, why not? Let's put them both on. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty comfortable too. I like that I can, once I put them on and off a couple times, this will gap up a little bit. I'll be able to like tuck. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew more rounds. and see what that looks like, because I know I'm going to do it. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and fasten off and do this. I'm going to tuck that in there for now. And tuck that in there for now. And there we go. So here we go. This is the Suzette stitch. Just lovely. I look forward to making some more winter stuff. I have no idea what yet, but I am thinking about some other beanies. Actually, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and show you. Possibly do a slouchy. I think this will be really nice, but I'm going to change this because doing the top in a single crochet is like there's 3 years of your life. So I'm going to work on that and see if I can modify that a little bit. So until the next time I see you, you guys take care, be safe, and stay warm. Bye.